Hello, I'm Molly Cloggers. Those stories and video games destroying our children again? We sit down with video game experts Drew and Bryce to find out why video games are such a stain on humanity.
Take the time to understand what their interests are, because apparently parents have no interest in doing that nowadays. That makes me really sad as a parent.
And more in this special edition of 60 beats per minute. Wait, is the clock still ticking? Who the hell didn't turn off the clock? I can't work it out with this unprofessional shit. I'm so sorry. Turn off the clock. Turn it off.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the House of Mario, episode 60. And we are the Nintendo Podcast, a part of the 8-Bit Collective. I'm your host, Drew Agnew, and joining me, as always, once again, is Bryce DeWitt.
It's me, hey.
Hey, man, good to have you back.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. It's great to be back.
Absolutely. So, Bryce, you've recently been playing some Monster Hunter World.
That's right, so we're jumping right into it.
Yeah, right into it. Yeah,
right.
Bang.
I have been playing some Monster World, and it's made me consider a bunch of things.
Yeah.
All right, so... I brought it up. I brought it up last episode. All right. Insane. Oh, actually, no, I didn't. I brought it up in the Discord, which, you know, you want to hear opinion pieces from me. That's the place to go. The Monster Hunter Generations demo dropped on the Switch a couple weeks back. I downloaded it. I played it because I was actually really considering getting Generations on my Switch. But I'd actually reconsidered it now, considering its price point and the fact that Monster Hunter World came out on PC recently. The reason I wanted to make a quick snap in about this is that I feel like Monster Hunter World has kind of demoralized buying any other Monster Hunter game for me. Yeah. And considering that most of them have come out in Nintendo in the last generation, that's something, especially since World's not on Switch.
Yeah, it just seems like World's the one that broke through and updated it so much that it actually become like a huge success for Capcom.
Yeah,
and like Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, is that what it's called? Ultimate?
Yes.
Yeah, that come out in Japan before it's come out here, so that was a game even before Monster Hunter World came out. So. Like, even for me, I've never really gotten into Monster Hunter. I bought Monster Hunter 4 on 3DS, but I sort of played it a bit, and I couldn't really get into it. And I'm always wanting to get into Monster Hunter, because it seems like the type of thing, well, like, once I get grasp of it, I will probably enjoy. But, yeah, man, I want Monster Hunter World, but I kind of want it on a portable at the same time. So
well, yeah, that's the thing, really, isn't it? Is like we've migrated to the Switch for all these fucking games because it's portable and like it's nice. But the thing that hurts me is like, well, okay, Monster Hunter is a game that like you can get good at and you can like succeed with just about anything if you do anything correctly. And grinding is only like an afterthought if you feel like doing more. So, yeah, there's that. So you can jump in at Monster Hunter at any point and you won't have to like overdo yourself. But my issue is that like Monster Hunter World, as you said, had become a massive like hit success for Capcom. It may have even like mainstreamed a good portion of Monster Hunter. But Monster Hunter World is so much... It's just so much better, in my opinion. Maybe it's not as challenging as previous Monster Hunters, or you know, there's not as much functionality because it's not portable and all that stuff. But like, it's that good, in my opinion, that it kind of demolishes that means regardless. Yeah. There's no loading zones or anything like that, which means it adds to the challenge of like when are you going to drink your potions and all that stuff.
Yeah, I noticed while playing Generations on the 3DS, like a little bit, like the loading zones really kill it. Like you load into a mission, then you walk down the passageway, it loads. You go into like pretty much like a circle where you can see like all the monsters. You go off a little other gully, it loads. Like you really notice that, especially in 2018.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's the thing that's plagued Monster Hunter games for a long time. But a lot of people cheesed that because that strategy allowed you to, like, if you walked into a loading zone, you could safely potion and then walk back out, right? They've eliminated loading zones in Worlds, so you have to drink potions, but in a response to not being able to leave zone and drink potions, they gave you the ability to move while drinking potions, but that still poses a risk. So, you know, like, it just feels like they've opened the world up, they've put functionality in there to sort of help you, like, address, like, if you're a Monster Hunter fan who's coming from an older game to this one, they've added in functionality to try and help you cope with it and stuff like that. And honestly, I would really love to see that game on the Switch.
Yeah.
I know that it's not going to come to it, and that's unfortunate.
At least not for a long time with, like, a lot of work.
You would need a new model of the Switch, like
like a Pro version or
well,
whatever, yeah.
Like, under the same vein as a PS4 Pro, you need a Switch Pro, yeah, sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know, and it sucks when you look at it like that, because, like, that means that they wouldn't be getting two heaps later, which is the issue PCs had.
Yeah.
But the PC port, now that, like, everything's fixed up and it's all good and everything's fine, it's completely like taken any meaning out of getting Generations for me, and that sucks because, like, it's something I feel like I'd want to play.
It sounds like going back to Generations on Switch would be it's a great thing for veteran Monster Hunter fans.
Yeah,
because it's got, like, double the amount of monsters, and it's got, like, it's a lot more in depth, which a lot of that got taken out in Monster Hunter World. Apparently, I'm not a Monster Hunter guy. This is just what I've heard.
Okay, yeah,
but, like, it sounds great for someone who can go back and they can, like, readjust themselves to the way they used to play. But I think for someone like me who's like, okay, I want to get into a game, I'm like looking at between the Switch version, which I can pick up and play and put a lot more time into, or the one on the PS4 where I can sit down and go, which I probably won't put as much time in because I know what I'm like when it comes to sitting down in front of a console. It's got to really grab me. I don't know if Monster Hunter would be able to grab me as much.
Well, no. Well, here's the thing: is, like, you mentioned, like, the larger monster count Generations and all that stuff as well. I think the really big difference in something like saying something about that with Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Generations is Monster Hunter World is still updating.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
which is the thing. They've added like 3 or 4 monsters since Monster Hunter World's launch. You know, you've got the Lunastra, Devil Joe, Kulv Taroth, I think its name is, and Behemoth from Final Fantasy XIV. So, like, it's not like they can't just keep throwing in monsters as they go along. And, you know, for veteran Monster Hunter fans, more monsters the better.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as World keeps getting older, more content keeps getting added, and I just feel like it really is the quintessential Monster Hunter game. Like, if you want to get into it, which outside of Japan and obviously the Asian region where they get it first, like a lot of people didn't really get into it as much.
No,
from the Western audience perspective. But World has been like a perfect sort of jump into that.
Well, it's Capcom's fastest selling game.
It is,
which is huge. So that, like, Monster Hunter's finally broken out, and obviously Generations didn't do that back on the 3DS. And I don't know. It won't set the world on fire as far as on the Switch either. I don't think. Like, I'm yet to play the demo on Switch, but
well, yeah, and like I played the demo again today before I deleted it because it was just like it's taking up room.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, it's a Monster Hunter game, and Monster Hunter games have a unique charm to them, and like they really make you test what you know about the monster you're fighting, and like what you can learn about them and how you combat against them and all that stuff. That's what it is. It's like a mind game between you and the code, essentially. Which is what people like in Monster Hunter. You know, it's. God, I hate to say it, but it adds it's got its own little bit of like Dark Souls combat difficulty, which we all know what those two words getting thrown out nowadays is like.
Yeah, it's just like
every friggin' review.
Every game journalist is like, oh, it's like Dark Souls. Like, do you mean like what retro games were doing 20 years ago? So yeah, like that. Yeah,
exactly. That thing, you know. But like it's in the same element of like you have to dodge, like to not get hit by this attack, or you're probably going to die from it because it's heavy enough, or like you know, it's got that kind of appeal for people. But like the extent of Dark Souls multiplayer was like you could leave leave your mark around the world or whatever, and people could request your assistance, and like with bosses, or people could come in your game and terrorize you. Monster Hunter sort of does that, but it makes it feel more like a team setting.
Yeah.
Like, your friends can come in and they can help you trap a monster, and, you know, your friends come in, they know some things, maybe like some of the environment is destructible and they can take it down, and you would have never known that before. Or, you know.
That's an element I actually completely forgot about. Co-op in Monster Hunter, yeah.
Yeah, well, no, the co-op's really good, and I've been playing co-op in Monster Hunter World, like, vigorously. But, like, when I played 3U on the Wii U...
Yeah.
I feel like that's what I wanted from Monster Hunter, but I never did get it.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, but that is kind of just the way it is. World does it really well. And so, I mean, that's why I'm playing it, right?
Yeah.
So, in summary, because obviously I didn't want this to take up too long, if you're into Monster Hunter Generations, I still think it's a good Monster Hunter game, don't get me wrong. It's the Monster Hunter you know, but if you don't have much experience with Monster Hunter in general, I feel like World is the better pick. And it's not on a Nintendo console, which is unfortunate to say. But maybe if you play World and you've become engrossed enough in World, then you'll go back and you'll play the ones on like Switch or whatever, just to see what they were like.
Yeah.
I just feel like if you want a clean Monster Hunter experience that'll get you into the series, World is the place to start.
Yeah. That was always Monster Hunter's problem, though. There just wasn't that easy way to sort of slide into it and get used to it.
No, there really isn't.
Whereas, World fixed that, and once you play World, maybe it will be easier to come back. I would like to know, though, if any of you guys have picked up Monster Hunter Generations on Switch, I would be interested to see what you guys think about it, whether... like you've played a lot of Monster Hunter before and you can just pick this up, or this is the first time for you. I'll be interested to know if you how you think.
yeah, no, exactly. Real quick before we move on, I want to do this real quick.
Yeah,
is it? Yeah, just say hi to Peachy.
Hi, Peachy.
He asked if how the podcast went, and he typically checks in, so I thought I would just say hello. Because obviously we haven't finished yet. And I'll get back to him later, so I'll send him this now. Anyway, Monster Hunter, yeah, that's my thesis on it. I think the Generation demo is nice, but I don't think it beats World for me.
Okay.
Yep. What about you?
So this week I've rediscovered's probably the wrong word, but I've rediscovered Super Smash Brothers.
Rediscovered, like it's never, like it's left.
Oh yeah, it kind of did, because like we talk about it all the time. We're obviously super excited for Ultimate. Oh my god, I'm excited for Ultimate. But the last time I touched my Wii U or 3DS version of Super Smash Brothers, it would have been months at this point. Maybe early this year I played it.
Yep.
Let alone us playing it together. So earlier this week I was feeling a bit glum or whatever. I'm like, you know, like I had the podcast to edit. That's why it came out Friday instead of whatever. I'm like, oh, you know what? I've got to do something else. I'm not in the.
You were down and out. Yeah.
I'm not in the space to do it at the moment. Mm-hmm. So I said I picked up my 3DS and I started playing the 3DS version, and I thought it was, you know, a great version of Super Smash. I'm like, why am I playing it here? I might as well just go to the other room in the lounge room and pick up Super Smash on Wii U. Yeah. So I put in the GameCube controller and everything, and I just felt right at home straight away. Mm-hmm. And I was so rusty to start off with. Yeah. Like I put it on. I'm like, bugger. I put it on level 9 CPUs, and I was getting beaten. I'm like, and it felt weird because like not to put smoke up my own ass, but like
you used to trash them.
Yeah, I can. You know, I'm used to be able to beat them most of the time. Mm. Sometimes they might get a bloody one up on me, or something. But yeah, no, like my God, I love that game. I went to bed that night feeling so much happier, and we've got the clock just like to the right of the TV, and I kept looking up. I'm like, oh, it's 10 o'clock. And eventually got to 12 o'clock. I'm like, all right, better go to bed. Look up again. It's 1 o'clock. Oh shit, better go. Fuck, it's getting late. Better go to bed. Look up again. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, and that hasn't happened to me for so long. Like having a game just really make the time go by.
Yeah, it just makes you want to keep playing. And I mean, that's what I was doing with the 3DS a couple of weeks ago too. You know, I don't have the energy to plug in my Wii U because I'm just like whatever. But I just flick on my 3DS and I was playing it, and I was having fun with it.
Yeah.
And I think that's like the important thing about Smash Bros. Is that like even if you just flick it on and you get absorbed in it for a while, and I mean it's an important thing for any game like you're passionate about, is that like if you feel the drive to keep playing it and you lose track of time, then you know you've obviously found something you really enjoy, and yeah.
No, like it's just like Nintendo games especially like I like gaming all round's a hobby for me, so like games like Uncharted and stuff like that on PlayStation. But if I'm feeling like shit, like I'm feeling down, whatever, it's pretty much only like Nintendo games will sort of pick me up again.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Like I
feel you.
Like I shut my eyes and I think of stuff like Wind Waker and Smash Brothers and Mario, stuff that's like
vibrant and colourful.
Yeah, colourful and happy.
Yeah, it does it for me. That's for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just something that I've always, and I mean, I'm going to talk about it later in this podcast anyway. But you know that's for the end of the show. It's always Nintendo's always sort of been there, in my life, and it was just a lot of Nintendo games brought me a lot of happiness, and you know I think that was a massive thing that pushed me into gaming, is that like I could find enjoyment in another world for a little bit. And you know, forget about some stuff that sort of happened before, which is good. That's fine. But no, yeah.
I sort of wanted to tie this into a conversation that went on earlier this week. So a 60 Minutes article story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I guess you call it story. It's not an article, but I hadn't just to a preface before we say this. We haven't watched the actual story on 60 Minutes.
We've read the article.
We've read the basically pressstart.com.au. They just recapped it, what happened and whatever, and they interviewed a few parents. One which a lady had breast cancer, and she told her kids, and the way they're sort of coping with it is just burying their head in Fortnite. Mm-hmm. And basically when they go to say, hey, you're playing way too many video games, and they might take away the console, turn off the internet, whatever they're doing. Basically, they react in a way which is just, you know, not appropriate.
Foul,
you know, not good.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate, and it's unfortunate that they sort of framed the story around video games are just bad. Like you can't blame video games for just like a kid or a family being put in such a horrible situation.
It's been a really bad week for this in general, because what happened earlier on, obviously in the week and stuff like that, we had the issue at Jacksonville, right, and that was at a video game tournament. Shit went down, and somebody really really did something that was disgraceful, and it cost a couple people their lives.
Just disgusting. Yeah,
it was truly disgusting, and it kind of regressed. It regressed our side of the argument back a lot for something like that to happen.
Because like a family friend of mine, they said, "Oh, did you hear about the shooting?" And they come to me because I'm the video game guy.
Yeah,
to him, and he said, and he what he assumed was it was a just like they were playing shooting games, and because he plays shooting games, he shot someone. I'm like, no, it wasn't.
No,
not only
wasn't it Madden or something?
It was 100% Madden. It was just a Madden tournament, hosted by EA.
Right,
so, but even if they were playing Battlefield, it's not gonna make your normal average person go and shoot someone.
No, a lot of people pointed out that it was a motive prior to this. Like he had a reason to do it, obviously,
because he's been there in the past and he's won the rank of the tournament. I don't know exactly
whatever you call it. Yeah.
I don't want to talk about that too much. We did say a bit last week.
No. Of course, yeah. But like just recapping on that sort of thing. Like it's the type of thing that makes this argument that we're about to go into look a bit shaky upon some people's eyes who don't really understand, and it's unfortunate. But
it's a shame too, because for the most part, I think 60 Minutes does pretty good journalism.
For the most part,
no, like there's multiple journalists, there's multiple stories coming out of this, but. Like it is a shame because video games aren't. It's not just them playing video games and they're becoming bad people or misbehaved or whatever it is.
Yeah,
it's a situation they're put in and they're just burying themselves in video games, and when they're being ripped out of that, they can't cope.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Right. So, I mean, I can understand the perspective of the kids of like they're finding a coping mechanism. Actually, probably be the best place. I was going to leave it for something that we were going to talk about at the end of the podcast, but I'm going to interject something in here. When my grandfather had died, the first thing I did after his funeral was stick my head in Pokemon. Because it was happy. It was a place I could go to, and I didn't have to think about too much. And my grandmother had pretty angrily asked my mother to take the game off of me. And she did, and I sort of just broke into tears, and I was crying, and it was awful. I love my grandfather so much. He was like a massive part of my life, and he did a very good job at sort of filling the role of my father, because my father was already dead. And Mum just gave it back to me, because she's like, no, I'm not going to just let him sit through this sort of thing. And, I controlled it myself at the end of it. I did take myself out of the Pokemon, and I did end up interacting that evening. But at the time, I just couldn't cope.
Yeah.
These kids obviously have no self-control, and they have nobody there to... Well, and I think this is actually something that was brought up within the story, that the parents admit they've not done a very good job at mediating their playtime. And this is the big issue with this story, is they've pointed out the problem right there, right? Like, I can completely understand if a kid's going to be upset with you taking away something that is taking them out of that world, because I've been there.
Yeah.
But I absolutely do not think that just letting them absorb themselves in it and then just taking it away from them forcefully and then expecting them to come off a high like that, like getting out of the situation they're in into a real big low, I don't think that's the way to do it.
No.
You need to sit down and talk with your kids.
Absolutely, yeah.
You can't just take away the video game and just expect them to be alright. That's like saying, hey, I'm going to take this candy away from you while you're really enjoying it.
Yeah, no joke. Like, especially like something like Fortnite, you might be in the middle of a match or something, and you're like, your adrenaline's up. You're really there, because like I even noticed from my little amount of time with Fortnite, I was like, oh shit, I see why this can be addictive, because it's fun.
Yeah,
and it's short bursts. You're back in. Like I can see how it's addictive.
Mm-hmm.
And if someone comes out, hey, turn off the PlayStation, Mum, I'm like halfway through a game or whatever. Yeah. Like you can see why. Like,
yeah, and people
kind of.
It is high, yeah. But you can't do that. You need to approach it like a lot. I don't get how it's that hard to understand that. Like, you need to go and speak to your kids and just say, do you have a time for a minute? And just be like, can I talk to you? This is serious. Instead of just being like, I think you're spending too much time. And that's why you're getting an aggressive response, because you're cutting them off in the middle of a session. If you wanted to talk to them, those games aren't that long. They're 20 minutes max. Let him finish his game and tell him that you need to talk to him before he plays more.
Yeah, just sit on the side of the chair with him and go, hey.
Show interest.
Yeah, say, what are you doing? Like, because people are straight away guns, violence. You're like, okay, like just sit down with your kid and understand what the game is to start off with. Like, there's guns there. You are shooting people, yes.
And what they're taking away from it.
Who are they talking to? Are they with friends, or are they talking to strangers who they shouldn't be talking to? Like, these are all important things to think. And I also think it is unusual. Video games compared. Like, if, say, something bad happens to you, and someone who buries themselves in a video game, they can be in there for hours and hours, weeks and weeks and weeks. You can stay in there for as long as you want. But if you have like say you find out like a family member's sick, like you might have an album which you put in your ears and you listen to it and you love that song, you love the album, but it keeps you calm. It keeps you calm, but you're not. It's not like a video game when you're in there for 24 hours a day. You're not going to be. It's just not how it works. Movies, you're not going to be sit there watching movies all day, and if people won't question it like they'll question a video game either. No,
they won't. No.
So it's a very unique medium.
It is, yeah, it is. I agree. I just think when the media is taking a lot of steps forward to blame video games, but they're not actually giving anybody a... Okay, I want to talk about these video game experts they go and see sometimes, and they try to put in their news articles, like the ones that were fake playing Fortnite. And
They don't talk to I don't know.
They don't talk
a Twitch
to
streamer or a writer at IGN. They don't talk to anyone who's an actual expert.
No, they don't.
Like knows the industry on the back of their hand, knows why people play them. They talk to like a psychiatrist who's I don't know,
who's talked to kids who have played Fortnite before.
Yeah, it's like if you've listened to any 12-year-old play Fortnite, you probably think they're crazy as well.
Yeah, yeah.
My partner's brother, he's 14, and all he does is talk about Fortnite. He does the dancing and all that, and you're like, oh yeah,
yeah.
But he's out there. But he's got no problem. He's playing footy. He's doing that other things.
Yeah, he's doing all that stuff. Yeah,
and like he comes home and he's playing Fortnite with his mates, and it's like a social thing after school.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
as well.
But like, if you're not somebody that's like, and it's the same with anything. Like, if you're going into the music industry or whatever, and you just assume that you know everything because you've listened to music before, it's not the same.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. Like
what the fuck?
It's like music experts, just some old woman who's like a psychiatrist. It's like it's the same thing, though. It's just rubbish.
It's just they're offering a lot of rage and like. Well, outrage in when it comes around video games, and like video games are the problem and like all this stuff. What they should be doing is talking to people about like what exactly has brought them into it. You know what I mean? A lot of people came into video games as a means to find entertainment, or they turn to video games because they're just like disappearing to a different world for a couple of hours or something like that. But it's just sort of like they're going to go talk to these video game experts and psychiatrists. They're going to be like, hey, what's the issue with video games? They're just like, from a medical doctor's perspective, you don't need that here. It's not a medical doctor's perspective you need. What you need to know is what's in your kid's head while they're playing. You need to be like, how long until you... And this is something that my mother did right, and I'll always like thank her for. She would always push it off 10 minutes until she knew I was finished.
Yeah.
She'd start to get pissed off if I took too long, granted, but as anybody would.
Yeah, yeah.
But I did explain to her that an online game cannot be paused and that it has to play out to the end. So she understood that. And a lot of parents nowadays don't have that patience. They're kind of just like, I don't care whether you're in the middle of like what could potentially be like your first win in Fortnite, which is really important to you as a kid, or something like that. They don't care. They just want you off of it there and then.
Yeah. I feel like it's really like if you're a parent who's doesn't know anything about video games and your kids obviously very passionate, very obsessed, very whatever with video games, I feel like it would be very hard to sort of understand and monitor it, but like it's so important to sit down and sort of figure out why they're playing. Like if they're there playing Fortnite, go die, you effing dickheads and all this. Like whoa.
Yeah, what's going on? Like, why are you angry?
Like this isn't healthy, regardless if you're playing football or playing Fortnite or doing anything.
No.
So it's important. And also, like for example, if your kid's been waiting for the latest Pokemon game, and all they do, if they play it all weekend, literally don't go to bed, play it all weekend. You're like, well, that's not great, but he's been looking forward to this game for ages, and he's finally got it, and he was obsessed with it, finished it. That's different as well to doing that every weekend.
Yes.
So it's important to sort of really understand why they're playing video games, when they're playing video games,
and what they're doing it for.
Yeah. Because like some weekends when Super Smash Bros. Ultimate comes out and Pokemon, I am going to play that all weekend.
Yeah, 100%. You're a grown-ass adult.
And if someone says, you've been playing video games all weekend, I'm like, I worked all week. I paid for this video game.
I would like to play my video game, thank you.
I waited to December 7th. God damn it. It's the last AAA game of the year. I'm a very patient boy. I want to try Ridley and Squid Girl. I want to play my game with the rat, the plumber, and the Link,
and the fat crocodile with the gold-plated stomach.
Yes, that's exactly what I want to do. So leave me alone.
Yeah, I mean, just I think it really is important to sort of just nail this on the head, and like I don't know, if a parent was ever listening to it, or like the podcast, obviously, if a parent was ever listening to it or whatever, the thing I would tell them about video games and kids being like into them and all that stuff is taking them away by force is not going to make them any happier than you would be taking a chocolate bar from a kid saying you're not allowed to eat chocolate anymore.
Yeah.
What you need to understand is that if a kid is playing an online game, then let them finish their match and tell them you need to talk to them after that. Make that the standard. Don't be like, get off that game now or I'm going to kick your ass. Let him finish the game so they don't resent you. Because a lot of kids are playing Fortnite now, and that's a match-based game.
Yeah.
You're going to kick them off of it. They're not going to last long.
There are methods too to limit them too. So whether you're actually watching them or even on the Switch, you can have the
parental timer.
Yeah, you can literally time them, and when the timer runs out, it goes tunk, just goes, just locks up. So
I actually think a lot of consoles have that.
They all have it.
They all have it. There you go.
So there are options there. You can't like these companies are trying to help parents.
They are. They literally are, but they're not taking the options.
And like we all know how concerned Nintendo is about about children on their platform as well.
Mm-hmm.
And like we had the Wii with the friend codes and the online. Like it for them trying to help children hinders a lot of us. But I think at the end of the day, their heart is in the right place for doing it. At least their mindset. So parents spend money on their platform. Well, however you want to look at it, but.
No, I think it's important that they do something like that because it is true. Like they've seen this coming. They've seen this coming. They know that a lot of people are going to be playing their games and that those consoles aren't going to be turned off very often if you just leave them be. So it's important. It's important that they did do it. And you know what? The feature is there. It's the most unregarded feature, at least to me, of all time, and for a lot of people, obviously, because nobody knows you can do it. The option is right there in your options menu. You can turn it on. You turn the console off at a certain time, and that's it.
Yeah,
they can't turn it back on without a passcode. So, why aren't they doing that? But if you're gonna be that all gracious parent and like not limit the console use, then you need to understand what they're doing.
Yeah, I just feel like a lot of these articles have come out, and it's been video games are bad.
Because that's all they care
blame
about.
Fortnite, blame video games, blame Game X, whatever's big at the time and has a gun in it, which is a lot of games.
Yeah.
So
Call of Duty, fucking Battlefield.
They're all the same too. Then gamers read it and they go, just limit your kid. Look at the ratings. There's lots of things to help parents.
Well, no, it's the new generation, and like I belong to this generation of parents almost. Where. When we're moving forward, kids are getting older and they're finding interest in stuff like that. I told you the other night that I had managed to get myself on my hands on a NES Mini. Evie has actually asked me over the past couple of days to turn it on for her just so she could jump up and down in Zelda 2.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's Zelda 2.
In Zelda 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a hell of a pick for a 3-year-old.
Yeah, shit, yeah, but she loves it. She just likes Link jumping around. I tried her on Kirby. She didn't really like that much. But
oh, really?
Yeah, surprisingly.
She preferred Zelda 2 to Kirby. Wow.
Yeah, it's really weird.
You'd think they just love floating around, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, you would think so, but she doesn't quite know how to do two things at once. She hasn't got the motor skills for that yet.
Yeah.
So she's just jumping in one place at the moment, and she finds that interesting. She likes the music.
That's absolutely adorable. That is really...
She likes the music, and that's fantastic. And you know what? She's going to like video games, then go for it. But like me as a parent who has actually played video games in the past and stuff like that before, I'm going to know these methods because I'm not silly. I know the craft, but... In saying that, people in the past had the patience to learn their kids' hobbies, whether it be like boxcar racing or
yeah, exactly, soccer,
boxcar racing or
yeah.
soccer or football or anything like that. It's no different. If you're going to help your kid out or try to interact with them, learn who your kid is, then you should be doing this.
Yeah.
You don't have to play the game. Just understand what's going on. Support them. They might be like excited they got their first Fortnite win, and you're just like, I don't care.
Yeah,
be happy for them. They're happy about it.
I feel like that most parents just view the TV as the TV is looking after them. I can go.
Yeah, they do.
In 2018, that's not the case.
No.
If they're watching Channel 9 and they're just watching whatever's on TV, yeah, fine. Like, the cartoons are on, that's cool. But if they're online, they're playing...
You have to watch what you're doing, yeah.
If they're online, they're playing video games, If you've got your credit card, don't let them get any microtransactions. You've got to keep on it.
Just look at the malicious stuff that, like, you know, there was a real problem, like, about 6 months ago where people were hiding just real disturbing shit in YouTube videos. They were just, like, spam clickable...
No, that's right. You told me about this.
Yeah. Just spam clickable videos. Like, when my kid ever touches a tablet, she doesn't stay on a video for any more than a minute. She switches between them. But if you click on something with a nice thumbnail, it could have something really disturbing in there.
Literally clickbait to scare kids.
I have to watch it. I have to keep a check on her and make sure nothing bad is coming out of it.
Yeah.
You know? And I do that because I know what the internet is. And this is no different from the social media outrage that started when social media hit the scene. Keep a check on your kids and what they're doing on Facebook, MySpace, who they're fucking talking to, because they could be talking to a predator. And yes, they can, because it's the internet.
Yeah.
You know, it just seems silly that, like, we've reversed... It's like the internet's brand new again and people are just kind of like... whatever, you know. And video game addiction, a lot of the blame is obviously coming down on multiplayer games and stuff. You never hear any of this shit about a single player game unless it's GTA.
My kid was playing Uncharted, and they're a menace.
Yeah, exactly. You don't hear about, like, the literal only single player game I can point out that's ever had news controversy centered around it that I can think of is something stupid like Postal, which never took off in the mainstream scene, or GTA 5.
Or any of the GTAs, yeah.
Or any of the GTAs, but even then, like, it's silly. It's really dumb, and, like, if you're buying your kid GTA in the first place, you should be considering those things, instead of just being like, my kid wants this, so I'm going to buy it for them.
Yeah, we saw that a lot too.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
You bought your kid that game. It's your responsibility to talk to them about it and, like, see what they're playing. You know, and Fortnite, yes, it's a free-to-play game, and that's, like, a much easier, accessible thing to get into, and kids can download it without their parents' permission, but that's all the more reason to keep a check on them. You know?
Is it rated PG? Is that what it is?
M,
is it? Okay.
You wouldn't be like, to a kid, it's like, hey, I want to watch this movie. You read the title. The title is, like... Nightmare on Elm Street 742, and then just be like, let's check the rating, and then just be like, oh, it's MA. Oh, no, it's probably alright for my 10-year-old to watch.
Yeah, exactly.
You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And it's just really silly. You need to monitor your kids. You need to take the time to understand what their interests are, because apparently parents have no interest in doing that nowadays. That makes me really sad as a parent. Because I give a shit about what my kid watches. I sing along the songs that she sings with her, even though I have no relevance to them. She could be singing something on her favourite TV show, because that's one of her things she does. At the moment, to get her to do something, I have to sing a particular song on YouTube she's been listening back to get her to do it, because it basically says in the song, it's like, I don't like this, and then, like... the option is give it to the teddy so the kid likes it, and then they'll go do it. I have to sing that song along with her, then she'll do whatever I want. But that's because I've sat there, I've listened to it, I've taken interest. Like, you think...
Like it hypnotizes her. You're like, do this.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, just looking at it from that perspective, I'm like, I've sat there and I've listened to it with my kid, and I know exactly what she's talking about, even though, like, she gets half the words wrong. You can't understand her because she's still developing her speech. But because I understand what the hell she's singing, I know exactly what to do in response and what will make her do the thing.
I just want to see one of these stories come out and be not biased towards video games or against video games. Just lay the facts out. Say, like, you know, video games are for kids, video games for adults. Don't let kids play adult games. Monitor what your kids are doing, especially if they're online, and understand why they're playing video games. If it's because they're depressed and they just want to go into a video game world, you know, talk to them, get them help. If they're playing because they think it's fun, that is fantastic. That is what they are for. You
know, somebody clip this and send it to 60 Minutes. We'll go on and we'll tell them. We'll call us video game experts. All right. Just like they seem to call every psychiatrist who's like looked at a television screen.
Yeah, sure. No, we're experts.
Experts, yep. You know,
I wouldn't call us experts on anything, but if they're going to call themselves video game experts,
yeah, then if they're experts, if they're video game experts, we're video game gods.
like we said before, we haven't actually watched the story. So I don't know if they actually called them video game experts in 60 Minutes, but
no.
On the Today Show,
and
all that what we've talked about before, they've called them,
video game experts, and it's a load of crap because they're not people that sit there and play video games themselves. They're not people that have grown up with them.
That's the name of this episode, by the way. Video game experts.
Video game experts.
So when this comes in your RSS feed on iTunes or whatever, and you say video game experts, and you go, "What the hell?" We are being sarcastic. It's okay.
All right, clip it. Send it to 60 Minutes. We'll see you next week on the television.
Yeah, tweet at 60 Minutes. I think that's the Twitter handle.
At 60 Minutes. Yep. Here's the real video game experts telling you how video games should be done right as parents.
Yeah, so we've actually got you as a parent, so that
I'm a literal parent.
A literal parent. I'm just a fake parent. I've got my rock. I'm trying to get to play a video game.
my kid has started playing video games, and she loves the tablet and YouTube, like
every kid.
Like every kid. I'm not stupid enough to not keep a monitor on it. Like I get it. People are busy in their lives and they're working a lot and shit like that. But that doesn't mean you have to stop paying attention to your kid. Like, it's important. They need to grow up too, and you need to teach them values. These people are just fucking lazy. Sorry, that's my opinion. I don't care if you have work commitments, health commitments, and stuff like that. These are still your children. You still need to care about them. So grow the fuck up and pay attention.
Just before we move on, I want to talk a bit about why we play video games and why it cheers us up. Because if someone's listening, they listen to us rant about what we just ranted on for about 20 minutes, which is great. But why do you play video games? If you're in a slump, something shit's happened, or you might be just feeling down because we're human beings. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Why do you jump into a video game?
Why do I jump into a video game?
Yeah.
I jump into a video game because, look, if I'm ever having a hard time, it does take my mind off the situation and it gives me something to think about. If I'm playing a video game nowadays, it's usually not for something really mindless. It's usually for something I got to think about. Like if I'm playing an RPG, I got to think about stats. If I'm fighting a monster in Monster Hunter, as in more recently, I have to remember what specific animations do what and what that could affect me if I get hit by that, what angles I'm going to have to dodge roll at to avoid that certain move.
Yeah.
Or, just something that really keeps my mind working and off the situation that I've currently got. Or if I feel like I need to think, I could play a game that requires number statistics, like an MMO. I'll play that and I'll get my numbers charts up. My friggin' parser. I was looking for the word. Like my DPS parser. I'll test my button pressing skills. Am I pressing the buttons in the right order to make that number go the highest it possibly can go? There's a whole bunch of reasons I could play video games.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if I'm using it to escape, or if I'm using it to test my brain, or I'm doing it for social reasons, there's a lot of reasons I play video games, and none of it's for a negative reason.
No. I feel like when I'm trying, if I'm feeling down and I'm like if music isn't doing it, if watching a movie isn't doing it, if just talking about it isn't doing something, I feel when I play a video game, I want it to be something familiar. So what that usually means for me is Pokemon, Mario, or Smash Brothers, something like that. I could just jump into and just have fun.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember Super Mario 64 going to Bob on Battlefield and just mucking around.
Yeah.
Just losing yourself. Playing Pokemon, like you said, thinking about your stats, thinking about this. But I've played that game a million times and I'm just sort of doing it again and thinking about the memories I had and thinking about what's taking place at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And Smash Brothers, obviously, just you're listening to the music, you're going through the music. I found myself the other day just aiming for a high score because I saw you had the highest score with Cloud for what was it? What's that trophy? It's called Trophy Rush. Yeah, Trophy Rush. And you had a real high score. I'm like, how the hell did you get that high score? 'Cause when we were playing together,
mm-hmm.
you had was it 57,000? Something. I'm like, oh shit, that's pretty high, man. So I was there for about an hour. I just wasn't getting it. Then I had one run where I didn't get hit by the stuff coming down, and I eventually beat it by a little bit. I'm like, that'll do. And then I went and listened to some music. Went and looked at all the trailers. I just And yeah, as I said before, when I finished, I was that much happier. Like,
Yeah.
and like video games have way more positives than negatives.
For sure. Yeah.
Like it doesn't. I don't think it takes really much to say that. But obviously, not everyone's a gamer. Not everyone's obsessed like we are. Not everyone starts a Nintendo podcast.
No, obviously, yeah.
about video games. So.
No, yeah. But like, in saying that, I'm not trying to be an advocate of like, you know, I'm not trying to be like this big stalwart personality in why video games are not bad. I think it's pretty obvious that like a lot of this shit can be really just resolved by parents paying attention to their kids, because a lot of that nowadays seems to be the case, is that people just aren't fucking paying attention to their kids. I'm sorry, it's exactly what's going on. And they're wondering why like all these kids are growing up and getting snootier, and like you got kids on Dr. Phil, they're like, I'm sad because my allowance has been bumped down from $4,000 to $1,000 a month. Yes, that happened on Dr. Phil.
Yeah, it did. So yeah, instead of being like, all right, go away, play video games, it's go away, here's money.
Yeah.
Like it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
But like, just looking at it from that perspective, it's obvious that there's a parenting problem, not a video game problem. So it pisses me off every time I see it as a parent. And I know that there are parents that listen to this podcast too. And
yeah.
I'm sure that you guys can like feel exactly where I'm sitting here.
They'll be in the exact same boat as us.
It is a parenting problem. It is not a video game problem. Video games are catered for literally every age demographic, just like TVs, movies, music, all that stuff is. It's all to an age demographic.
What do 80-year-olds play?
80-year-olds play... Hey, they according to Nintendo, they really love brain training.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
You know, there is a video game made for like so many different demographics, and there's something that everybody can enjoy. You don't even have to be... Like, you don't have to be 10 to enjoy Pokemon. That's obvious. Or, you know, that's something that we've grown up with and we love it still, and
adore it.
We adore it, but like there's so much there that kids can play and enjoy and have fun. And Wii Sports was a phenomenon for ages, and like we don't have a Wii Sports of this generation, but that was something that got everybody around a TV to play Wii.
Yeah, I think the Wii was a real magical period of gaming for introducing new people.
It was, yes.
It really was.
I agree. But like
at the moment, you've got Xbox One, PS4, and Switch. Like you've got fantastic games across all the platforms. You know, on Switch alone, we've got Zelda and Mario. But like stuff that introduced people like your mum and dad and my mum and dad, and you know, just like
just Wii bowling and Wii tennis.
Because when people think of video games, they think of guns.
They do.
And there are a lot of gun games, because shooting is one of the easiest things to base a game around. Pull a trigger, something happens on screen.
Yeah.
It's one of just the easiest things to sort of make a game around, because it's so satisfying.
But that doesn't mean that's all there is.
No, absolutely not.
No.
Like you can even go down like the Wii and DS era, where like the biggest selling games were Nintendogs, Brain Training, Wii Fit. We play like there were basically no violent games on that era of Nintendo, and that was the most successful pair of consoles for that half a decade.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
so full of shit.
It is full of shit. It's just people. It's all down to people. Stop blaming your problems on material things and realize what you're doing wrong. I hate it, and I'm sure that again, anybody that listening can agree with me, because they're probably sitting there. Their kids are also playing video games, you know, because they're video game players themselves, and they know how to deal with this. It's people not wanting to take the time to learn. And this is your kid's hobby. You should be learning it. I'm sorry. I don't care if you're not interested in it yourself. It's your kid's hobby. You need to understand your child. And you should be making that effort, because it's one of the most proudest things you could do as a parent is really bond with your kid. So why are you not doing it?
Absolutely.
60 minutes. 60 minutes, a current affair, the Today Show. There's your story. There's a parenting problem. It's not video games. I fucking said it.
Ship it.
Fucking tie it in a nice little bow. Send it to America, because America could really fucking use it right now, can't they?
Oh, Jesus.
Just drives me nuts. And like situations like Jacksonville, it's just really stirred this topic up again, and it really fucking sucks because it's down to the one bad apple in the bunch who is particularly interested in video games that decides to do something really stupid.
Yeah.
So fuck that guy, but he doesn't represent the majority of us.
Absolutely not. No way.
No way in hell. I'm not interested in shooting up a school. I played Call of Duty since I was 12, and I played gun games avidly since then. I'm 13 years older now. I've never wanted to handle a gun in my life. I have no interest in handling a gun at all. Not for recreational, not for serious purposes. I just like shooting guns in a virtual game.
Yeah.
That's it. It shows.
Yeah. Well, we got that off our chest now. That's good.
Thank God, because I'm sick of hearing about it all week and not talking about it.
Yeah. Sorry if that went on a bit long, but I feel like it's an important issue.
Look. It's a Nintendo podcast, and I know that like a lot of people won't be happy to be hearing about it, but at the same time, I'm so damn sick of it as somebody who's passionate about video games. And I think that's fair to say, and this is the best place to voice my opinion. People can hear it and they can formulate their own opinion. If you want to talk at me and tell me that I'm wrong about something, you go ahead, because I want to talk about this.
Yeah, absolutely. The discussion's open, so...
For sure, yeah. Send a tweet. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, you can tweet at us, or...
Discord.
in the Discord would be a great place to do it too. Or DMs on Twitter even, that's a great place too.
Yeah.
But Bryce, let's move on to something a bit more positive. So Mario Plus Rabbids on the Switch has surpassed 2 million sold worldwide.
That's very nice.
I always forget this is a third-party game.
It's a really good third-party game.
Yeah, because it was on sale at EB Games for $36.
Yeah, it was.
And obviously, if you've bought a Nintendo game before, you'll know that Nintendo games never go cheaper. They might go $10 cheaper every now and again, but never to $36.
No.
And when that happened, I'm like, oh yeah, right, it's Ubisoft. Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, but it's got Mario on the cover.
Well, not only does it have Mario on the cover, it just has the same standards, I feel.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Like they've made it really well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, the guy that developed it, I could not tell you his name now because I'm bad with them, but he really put a lot of heart and soul into it because he was a massive Mario fan, and like that's something to be proud of, dude. Like your game's sitting up there with like Mario games that have sold that much, and you know that's awesome, and you should be proud of yourself. Like
there was I'm not going to say his name because I'm going to butcher it. I know everyone's just yelling at the podcast right now saying it's this. I can't think of it right now, and if I even try, I'll bug it up.
You'll butcher it, yeah.
So, but there was a picture of he posted. He was in Japan, and he said he bought a Japanese copy.
Yeah, I did see it. Yeah,
like he's so proud he directed a Mario game. That is.
And I think anybody would be.
Oh,
but
absolutely, yeah.
That dude put a lot of heart and soul into it, and he cried when Shigeru was there with this game, and
him and the team should be so proud of what they've done. Honestly,
yeah, absolutely fantastic. Look, I haven't even played the game yet. I'm sad to say it.
You haven't played it at all, or
no? And like I think the only reason is because I'm not particularly interested in playing a strategy game like that unless it's like Fire Emblem at the moment, because Fire Emblem's like the thing I really want to push myself into. But that doesn't mean I don't think it's a really well made game, because it looks fucking fantastic, and like I think you're right, they nail Mario on the head with it.
Yeah, I've got to be honest, like turn-based like games like that,
turn-based combat.
Yeah, turn-based combat. It doesn't appeal to me at all, but I really try to push myself into it when it's like, you know, Mario plus Rabbids, or especially Fire Emblem. I really try to push myself in there, and like I still find it hard, but I really do like. Obviously, I really love Mario, and Fire Emblem. I really like the aesthetic, especially in Awakening with that anime. That anime art style. I've got to play this. It's not necessarily my gameplay preference, but the story, the characters, like I love it. Everything else,
yeah.
So, and I obviously I play RPGs like Pokemon. And that I'm not against turn-based. It's just sort of the
strategy elements.
Yeah, just the strategy element and sort of the setup of the grid and everything. Yeah,
and I get that. You know, but congratulations to the team that worked on the game, Ubisoft. You should be very proud of yourselves for making a game that everybody loves, and like congratulations, obviously, on the recent expansion, getting Donkey Kong in the game as well. Like that's. Huge.
I still haven't played that at all.
No, well, I haven't even played the actual game, so I couldn't tell you. But that's still really cool.
Yeah.
It's so cool that like Nintendo have been like 100% behind you with these assets, and they're obviously very proud of the job you've done. And like Ubisoft has really been like tried to be very supportive of Nintendo for the last, even through what was an absolute shit show with the Wii U for the most part. And I got to respect them that even though that flopped like crazy, that everything still happened moving on to Switch, and they've started a really good go. It's good. It's really good.
Absolutely. All right, Bryce. We're going to end with a segment I've not run past you. So this segment is called Smash or Bash.
Smash or Bash.
So I'm going to do quick fire
Dear Lord.
characters at you, and you're either going to smash them, as in you're going to plays them and smash, or you're going to bash them. No, don't want them in your Super Smash Brothers.
All right.
I've only got a handful of characters, so it won't go on forever.
Cool.
So I've got.
Do I need to give? Hang on. Do I need to give a reason behind each one?
Yeah, give a reason behind
Okay.
each one.
Okay.
So first up, Waluigi.
Bash.
Why are you going to bash him?
Dead meme.
Dead meme? Okay.
Dead meme. I'm sorry. Waluigi, yes, he's a Nintendo property. Do I really give a shit? No. He's an assist trophy. Yes. Does he look like he'd have a like crazy unique moveset? Absolutely. Am I going to play him? Probably not. He's meme value.
I'll play Waluigi sometimes.
He's meme value. I'm sorry. That's all he's come down to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ash Ketchum.
Well, Smash if he's an Echo. Bash if he's a completely new character.
An Echo of Pokemon Trainer.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
I don't
know how it would work.
I don't. Well, they just replace his character sprite and put him in with some different Pokemon, I guess.
Give all his Pokemon his hat. That's it.
I just like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna put Ash on the field and he's just gonna do some weird janky crap. Nah, I'm good. But if he's an Echo, it'd be interesting to have Ash Ketchum in the game and being acknowledged as a video game entity.
All right. Jerry Seinfeld.
Jerry Seinfeld, smashed it, baby. All right, I could set up a stage for my final smash and tell really bad jokes that lead into my show. Smash, baby.
Mother Brain.
Mother Brain. I mean, what would you do as Mother Brain?
Just
blink at people and shoot rainbow beams. Bash.
Bash. Yeah. Mr. Rossetti.
Mr. Rossetti, I would actually smash.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think no.
It'd work. Yeah.
I think he's a goofy enough character to make, like, you know how they have the goofs, the goofy character. Yeah. I think he'd make a good goofy character.
He would make a good goofy character.
Yeah.
Tom Nook.
Bash. He's a little bit boring.
Yeah, a bit boring.
A little bit boring.
I mean, at the same time, it's like, what the hell did Villager do before Smash 4, obviously?
Well, yeah, but like dropping bowling balls and cutting down trees, they're things the Villager did. Tom Nook sits in a store.
Yeah. He makes his kids the managers and he goes off somewhere. He might have.
Yeah, you never know what the fuck he's
He might
doing.
have learnt Kung Fu. That's when he might have went to Smash.
Ooh.
Yeah, the storyline's coming together.
Ooh.
Midna?
No, it's Smash. I want Midna in the game. Midna and Wolf Link.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I want that in a game as a character.
Have we seen them as assist trophies yet?
I think so, yes. I've seen Midna as an assist trophy.
In Ultimate, sorry.
In Ultimate, no.
No. See, that could be.
Look, I want them in the. I've wanted them in the game since Brawl as a character. I think that'd be really neat, and there's a lot of unique movesets you could do there, especially with the moves centered around it in the game. In Twilight Princess, I think it's a cool concept. I think it'd be really cool.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
It's been on my wish list for a while.
Yeah, same. I think it was on my wish list for 4 even.
Yeah.
King Boo.
We need Boo representation in the game, so I think it could work.
Could be pretty cool.
Well, yeah. I mean, you had Petey Piranha and King Boo and all that shit in Mario Kart. I don't see why nothing like that couldn't work in. I think he would have some really interesting mechanics to him because Boo's are booze. So
booze, yeah.
Yeah, no, it could be interesting. I don't see why he couldn't be in the game, so I suppose I'll give him a smash.
Give him a smash.
Nice.
Funky Kong.
Smash Brothers with added Funky Kong mode.
I'd like to see Funky Kong.
I would for some more Donkey Kong representation. Sure, Funky Kong's always been
Just obviously like a pretty simple echo.
He's always been always been a neat old time. But then again, I could also say the same thing about like I want Lanky Kong in the game, just for more Kong representation.
Just for all the Kongs.
I think there's a lot of potential in there for more Kong characters. Obviously, we just got K. Rool, but yeah, no, Funky would be good.
Well, we're going to roll on to Dixie Kong. Do you reckon Dixie Kong would be pretty different to Diddy Kong with the hair and everything?
That's a hard one because I feel like they'd find a way to make her an Echo. Like, just change some of her moves slightly, like change it so like a side A or something has something to do with a ponytail instead of
the hands.
Instead of the hands. You know what I mean? So if it was an Echo, probably, I'm not sure if I would want a actual original fighter. So same thing as before with Ash Ketchum.
Professor Oak.
If he throws Pokedexes at people, A+, he wins.
Just throws Pokeballs and
is he like, I don't know, it depends on his mechanics. If he throws Pokemon, a random Pokemon comes out and does something, might be kind of cool. But no, for the most part, I think Bash.
Hades from Kid Icarus Uprising.
Yes.
Oh my god.
I knew you were going to put this on the list as soon as you mentioned there was a list, because I think this is kind of, and we've said it in the past, we love the idea of him as a character. There's obviously only 2 characters for Kid Icarus representation, and Hades was oh my god, brilliant character.
I know a lot of people haven't played Kid Icarus Uprising because controls put them off, or they just didn't pick it up.
It was a good game.
I like Kid Icarus Uprising for me. I heard like IGN reviews, or whatever. It's like, yeah, it's whatever, and the controls are shit. I'm like, oh, okay. So it sort of lowered my hype, and when I got into it, I found such an awesome game.
It is a really cool game.
I love Pit as it was, because through Brawl he become my favorite character.
Yeah,
and having the game based around him and having that story actually blew me away.
I thought it was great.
The music from that game is some of my favorite music in Smash Brothers. So, in turn, being some of my favorite Nintendo music.
Yeah,
it's up there with Mario and Zelda. That's huge.
Yeah,
especially for like just the one game on 3DS.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
like I was too young to obviously get into the original Kid Icarus.
Yeah, and
going back to it now, it's like, all right, this is just designed to kill me. But
all right, well, to top that off, I just want to say that
fuck yes.
If you haven't played Kid Icarus because you're like, oh, the controls are shitty, I still suggest you play it. It's a brilliant game. I love that game.
If you get a stand with the game, that helped a lot. If you can sort of like work out a way to perch up your 3DS,
yeah,
and sort of use the stylus, it's not too bad then. But if you're on the bus or something, it's
a really good Kid Icarus game. It's just burdened by bad controls.
Yeah,
and that sucks. But like everything else about the game is brilliant. So just I would go for it.
That's another game, like whether it's a sequel or remake or whatever it is, like on Switch with like two sticks, two sticks, HD graphics.
Yep,
man. And last one is another Kid Icarus Uprising character, Viridi,
yeah, sure, 4, yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, yep.
So then you've got 4 Kid Icarus characters.
Well, yeah, no, look, Viridi is such a powerful voice in that game. So, like you see her in the background of Kid Icarus's war stage.
Yeah.
So, you know what? It should be cool to have in the game. I don't see why not. I don't play a lot of. We have 3. I keep forgetting about Dark Pit.
True.
Forget Dark Pit for a second.
He's an Echo now, so
well, yeah, as he fucking should have been.
Yeah.
Okay, so more representation. Viridi, Hades, they both deserve to be in there. Uprising is not a dead game. It was a brilliant Nintendo game, and Sakurai, I hope that down in the future, if you're making more games, it's another Kid Icarus experience, because that was fucking great.
It's a top 5 3DS game for me.
It is. It's a really good game. Yeah.
I fucking love the 3DS.
Yeah, you do.
Some unreal games.
You have so many fucking 3DS games. I fucking wonder what you've done with your life. But yeah, no. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's all the characters, man.
That's it.
Unless you want to put Reggie.
Well, Reggie's a smash. All right. And there was one last thing I wanted to talk about before we go.
Yes.
So, for veterans listening to the show, you may have noticed my big absence last year when my mother had health problems. Sorry, this is going to be get a bit serious for a second. This absence was kind of needed, and I wanted to, like, before I continue on with what I got to say, thank you to everybody that kept this podcast running for me while I was away. That includes my buddy here in front of me, and everybody that joined in, from Eric to Paul to Jono to just anyone who come on.
Yeah,
I can't remember the 100% list. I'm really sorry, but I've come at a time again where it's just like it's just this time of year. I don't know what it is, but my grandmother landed herself in hospital a couple weeks back, and it's been some real serious issues. She has some serious COPD problem, which is to do with her lungs, and she's also got heart valve disconnections, and we've been struggling with it for weeks. And so I've been absent for one episode because of it, and I've been trying my hardest to not miss any episodes simply because of that. I missed last week's episode because I was sick, and there was no possible way I could talk into a microphone for an hour without sounding like shit.
Yeah, and I didn't want to catch it either.
He didn't want to catch it either, so that's fine. So this is just a sort of like calendar alert almost, that
bit of a heads up
that there is more medical shit going down in my family. And while I'm going to say this sincerely, I might have to put up the podcast on the co-hanger for a couple weeks. I'm not going to take nowhere near as long as I did before to come back. But I don't know whether my grandmother's going to make it through or not within the next couple months. It could cost me a PAX trip. I don't know yet, which would really suck if it did. But family comes first, and just in advance, I appreciate all the time that you guys can give me when and if that time eventually comes, and we'll keep you updated if I'm going to be missing out for that particular reason. And I just want to thank you guys for sticking around regardless of the time that I've had to take off in the past. And I'm glad to see that this show is growing and that our passion is really pushing through, and like it gives me a reason to come back every week and talk into a microphone, and I really love it. It's something that I want to keep doing for years to come. And you guys have been really supportive whenever something's gone wrong. Or last week was my birthday, and I had a bunch of happy birthdays from people that I've never even met in real life, and that's always touching. So thank you all. And if I have problems, you'll be the first. Well, not the literal first to know, but you will know immediately. And I promise I will not take as long to come back like I did last time, because I missed so many episodes there, and I feel really bad about it. But
nah, it's all good, dude.
I know it's all good, but yeah. So yes, thank you all, and I'll be back next week. I promise. I'll be back next week.
Yeah. Oh well, cheers, dude.
Cheers with the beers. There we go. Cool.
Cheers with the beers.
Cheers with the beers.
Guys, thank you very much for listening to the House of Mario episode 60. You can find us on Twitter. I'm at iDruby. Where can they find you, dude?
At Bryce the Wit. Actually, no, at IVRevan.
And you can find the show at the House of Mario. And if you enjoyed the show, why not leave us an iTunes review? Why not?
Yes, they're very important to the iTunes economy. They're like V-Bucks.
They're like V-Bucks. The kids love them. The parents hate them. If you don't have an iTunes account or an Apple account, or you don't like iPhones because they're the devil and Apple is a big company, and you want to support other small companies like Samsung, give your friend a tap on the shoulder. Say, hey, this is a podcast I like. Or maybe if you don't like it, just don't tell them that. Keep quiet if you do. That's it. And on SoundCloud...
I don't like it 5 stars. Continue.
That actually happened to the Hungry Gamers.
Did it?
And actually, they got a 1-star review. All it was, you know NATO.
Yeah.
His Twitter handle is I know NATO. Mm-hmm. The iTunes review username was I wish I didn't know NATO. So... To me, it sounded like it was sarcastic, but That's great, isn't it? But,
That's fantastic.
the podcast is also available on SoundCloud. Leave a follow there if that's where you like to listen to your podcast. We've got a playlist up for all the episodes. We've got a playlist up for all the guest episodes. And we also have a playlist up for Nintendo Jukebox. All the songs that have previously been played on the podcast are available there. Not every single one is there because some might have been used on YouTube or something, so they weren't on SoundCloud. But they're included there, and you can go and check out the artists and
For sure.
follow them if you enjoy their music. And of course, we are a part of the 8-Bit Collective, 22 podcasters and 10 podcasts coming together for your ears. And I've noticed a lot of you have gone out and listened to the other podcasts, whether it's It Is What It Is or Putting In Work, The Hungry Gamers.
And thank you guys, because they're all brilliant podcasts.
Yeah, they're all our mates, so...
Yeah. They're all our mates and they're all brilliant podcasts.
Yeah, absolutely. Share the love.
For sure.
Anyway, Bryce, today's Nintendo Jukebox is actually by Naku. It's First Steps, and it's a remix of a
Celeste song.
A Celeste song, yes.
Yeah, Celeste. That's a good game.
It is a good game, yeah.
That's a beautiful game.
Another game on the subject of mental health and all that stuff.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Spin it right around. Hey, Bryce, I look forward to seeing you next week. And, guys, I look forward to... Well, I won't see you next week, but you'll hear me. And I'll see you.
You'll hear both of us.
All right, guys. Catch you later.
Bye.